Facebook Live. Hello everyone. Thank you for being here with me today. As you saw in the beginning clip, there was a little bit of confusion going on. I will include the full clip on this video, and I will get into the details of what exactly was going on. But if you're planning a trip to Mardi Gras in 2025, you're probably getting close to it since it's December. And I'm going to go over very important safety information. I spent 20 years in the military, and I tend to look at things a different way due to the training that I've had. So I would like to prepare you for your future, not only on this trip, but possibly anywhere in your life. And let's get into it. Okay, so as far as the food goes, I don't get very fancy, nor do I like to try anything too out of the ordinary in my eyes, the normal animals, the normal foods. But there were different things on the menu, and I'm talking rabbit and alligator and turtle, and I'm not interested in eating any of those things. So that is one issue that we did have while being there. And I'm also not interested in trying any rabbit schnitzel. It's not on my list, nor do I want to try turtle soup or alligator anything or frog legs. All of that is not in my realm of things I want to try. They also have a lot of French foods. So they have escargot. That's another thing I'm just not interested in trying. I'm just looking at the menu that I'm going to post here for you and just making sure that I'm not missing anything on it. So let me know if you've tried anything different or any of those in general. I heard the alligator tastes like chicken. I don't know. I heard rabbit as well, but I'll just leave that to other people. This is not in my realm. So now I'm going to tell you a story of something that happened to us the very first night we were there, only within a few hours. Before we left, one of my friends that was originally from New Orleans, I asked some advice, and he told me right away, make sure that you don't have your phone out or your wallet out, because you have a really high risk of it getting stolen. Now, I had never been there before, and it made complete sense after I went. If you've seen the photos and the videos, it's almost like a wave of people. There's waves of people going both directions, and it's moving fast, and you're not really sure where you're going. You kind of have to go with the group of people that are surrounding you. I figured, okay, well, then to be prepared, I'm going to buy this jean jacket. I'm going to put my phone in there. I'm going to put my wallet in there, and there should be no problems. So I let my friend know the same thing, which she did. So a few hours into the night, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of noises and music and people talking, a lot of distractions. And you're walking through these crowds of people. Most of these people you're probably not even going to see again throughout the whole night, because there's just so many people. Friend goes to take a picture, and she goes, oh my God, where's my phone? And I said, well, it should be in your pocket, right? And she said, no, it's not. Well, she had accidentally at one point, out of habit, put it into her purse. And sure enough, somebody must have taken it in one of those crowds that were sweeping through. So we continued our night. Of course, this was kind of devastating, but we didn't really know what to do because we were kind of a little bit far from the hotel that we were staying at. We just decided we're going to go to our meetup point, that if we get lost at any point, that's just where we're going to go. But, you know, it got to be so busy that we had to pretty much like hold on to each other's jackets to make sure that we didn't get lost from each other. That is one thing. These people that will go in and steal your stuff, they they don't care. They know they're not going to get caught. The odds of it happening with that many millions of people, you're not going to ever see them again. I even at one point I still had a purse on because I figured in case I'm collecting beads or whatever, but I did not have my wallet or my phone in it. Well, at one point I felt a little bit of a tugging, but it didn't seem too odd because you're kind of feeling like that the whole time that you're walking through these crowds. But sure enough, I looked down and I saw this man's hand in my purse. And I turned around and looked at him, and he kind of just looked the other way as if nothing happened. And there was nothing I could do. Now, lucky for me, he didn't get anything, but there was a possibility that he had already stolen from some other people that night. When we get back to the hotel room, we decided to go on the Find My Phone app. If you have an iPhone, you know what that is. We go on there to look for my friend's phone, and trust me when I say we were not going there. This was some very desolate road stop, truck stop. I'm not really too sure. Would you go get your phone? I don't have the exact location. The photo that I have is a screenshot, and I looked up the address, and it's actually down in the New Orleans area that we would have been at. So I'll still include that so you can see that it was 2 hours before was the last time that she was shown. We were sharing each other's locations, which is another thing that you need to do when you decide to go there. And majority of places that are busy, you should be sharing your location with someone else that is with you. And to give you some other things that you should know before you go visit there. Stay in the main area where all the people are. You're more likely to be able to get a hold of a police officer or someone that can help you out. When you leave that main area, the French Quarter, the main Bourbon Street, and a little bit of the area around it, it's not very many good people that are out at that time of night because you're probably going to be out late if you're not bringing kids with you, which I wouldn't recommend bringing kids. Some people do, just something I would not do. So if you do venture out, make sure you go right back to where the big crowds are. I noticed that around the outskirts, it's very sketchy, and it's not very well lit either. So you don't want to be a target of anything that could happen. If you have the option to pay for a balcony to be able to throw the beads, then do it. You're going to get tired of walking, especially if you're there more than one day. We did the first day, we did the walking, and then the phone situations. So we definitely did not want to lose each other after that. And it was actually really nice because you can get away from the crowds, and you can't really do that in the bars per se because everywhere is busy. So if you buy your spot on a balcony, they usually sell them like on Groupon, or you can just Google it, then you'll be able to sit down once in a while. Some of them may even include drinks with it, or, and you get the full experience of not only being on the bottom and catching beads, but you can also throw them. And I'm going to put in some clips right here. The next thing that is very important that I would have never known, I didn't go to a lot of these type of parades, but what I found out after I got there was when they're throwing beads and things of that sort off of these floats can't necessarily stop right away because they're carrying very large quantities of weight. So between people and all the decorations and everything that has to go into it to make it that parade float, they can't stop right away. So if somebody runs out in front of them, they're not going to be able to stop, more than likely. And another thing is they're throwing the beads, and they put barriers for a reason. Well, sometimes people are like, oh, that's really nice set of beads, because the beads aren't always the same. And you might say, oh, wow, those are huge lighting type ones, and I would love those. So the problem is, especially with children, is they run out and they go to grab them from somebody on the float, but they might step on beads and fall. There's a chance that anybody could fall. And even if you're just walking around on Bourbon Street and you're seeing these beads on the ground, first of all, don't pick them up. You can find plenty more at other times, because the things that go on in that street, people lose their mind. and but make sure that you're not going to slip on any of them, especially with the big crowds. This is another thing. Make sure you wear comfortable clothes and shoes. You don't want to have 6-inch stilettos walking down there, especially because some of the ground isn't even and cobblestone type. So be prepared for that as well. Okay, so before your trip, something that really helped me out when I was there is sign up. It's on ready.nola.gov. NOLA is what they call New Orleans. It's NOLA. And I'm going to put a screenshot up here. And you want to sign up for those text messages. The reason is I'm going to kind of show you a video recording of everything that's on the site. And then that way you can pause it if you want. But just a quick synopsis of why I think it's important is they will tell you if the parade routes change. If the parade routes change and you've been sitting there for hours waiting to see this parade and didn't even know that it had already started in a different area because maybe something happened, you would want to know, and you'd want to be the first to know to get out of there to get the new spot as soon as you could. Also, it can give you weather warnings, things of that sort. So now I'm going to get into the video that you saw a little portion of, and once I'm done explaining this, I will put the whole thing on the video here. So when I was deployed in the military, one thing that I was told to do, that if we were in a situation to where there might be terrorists around us, things of that sort, people following us, there was a way that we could deter them, number one, and number two, if we needed some sort of video evidence later, we had it. So in the clip, you'll see where I'm recording and you can see these men walking behind us. Now, I'm not saying that these particular men were out to try to do anything bad to us, but we had different groups throughout the night. Every time we would be about to leave somewhere and it looked like we were possibly heading out, especially out of the Bourbon Street area, we tend to have groups of men behind us. And so what I did is I brought out my phone and I pretended like I was doing a Facebook Live. So that's going to make more sense to you later. Now, some people may not realize that, hang on, you're actually just recording. But especially if they're drinking, they're not going to realize that. They're going to deter it. They now know their face is either in your iCloud or some sort of storage, or maybe you're going to send it to your mom real fast, whatever you got to do. But they're going to be less likely to try to do anything, harm you or rob you or anything that night once that happens. And you can see by the video, it did work very well. Not saying again that they were going to do anything, but we were not going to be a target regardless.
On record. Hey. It's on record. You want to get in my video? Facebook Live? You're all about that life?
So this is a tip that you should always have. Teach your children, teach your grandmother that. If you have somebody suspiciously following you, even if you have to really go on Facebook Live or Instagram Live, do it. You know what? At the end of the day, your safety is what matters.